A Christmas Carol. A wealthy but cold, sharp-tongued, and lonely old man who has spent most of his life prioritizing money over humanity. Living in London during a gloomy winter, Scrooge is known by everyone as someone who hates cheer, celebration, warmth, and especially Christmas. He runs a counting house where his humble clerk, Bob Cratchit, works long hours and harsh cold for very little pay, yet Bob remains kind and polite. On Christmas Eve, Scrooge dismisses his nephew Fred's joyful invitation to Christmas dinner, calling Christmas a foolish waste of time, and treats two charity collectors with cruelty, refusing to help the poor and insisting that prisons and workhouses are enough for those in need. When Scrooge returns to his dark, silent home that night, he senses something strange. The knocker on his door transforms into the face of Jacob Marley, his long-dead business partner. Later, Marley's ghost appears before him, dragging heavy chains made of ledgers, cash boxes, and metal locks, symbols of the greed that consumed his life. Marley warns Scrooge that he is bound to the same miserable fate unless he changes. He tells him that 3 spirits will visit him that night to guide him toward redemption. Scrooge tries to sleep, but the first spirit, the ghost of Christmas past, arrives as a glowing figure who takes him back through memories he has long buried. Scrooge watches his younger self, a lonely boy abandoned at school during the holidays, reading stories to comfort himself. He then sees his cheerful days as an apprentice under Mr. Fezziwig, whose kindness and generosity made work joyful. The spirit also shows Scrooge the heartbreaking moment when Belle, the woman he once loved, ends their engagement because Scrooge has let greed replace love in his heart. Watching these moments fills Scrooge with pain and regret as he begins to realize how far he has drifted from the person he once hoped to be. The second spirit, the ghost of Christmas present, arrives as a giant figure surrounded by warmth, food, and laughter. This spirit shows Scrooge how others celebrate Christmas with joy, even with little money. Scrooge sees the Cratchit family preparing a humble but love-filled feast. Despite their poverty, the family radiates warmth and unity. Tiny Tim, Bob's gentle young son, walks with a crutch and suffers from an illness that could be cured only with better living conditions. When Scrooge asks if Tiny Tim will survive, the spirit sorrowfully hints that he may not. The spirit then takes Scrooge across the city to witness the happiness, compassion, and generosity shared by strangers. He shows him harsh realities too. 2 starving children named Ignorance and Want, representing societal neglect. Their existence shakes Scrooge deeply. The final spirit, the ghost of Christmas yet to come, appears as a silent, hooded figure more terrifying than the others. It shows Scrooge a future where people discuss the death of a wealthy man with indifference and even amusement. Thieves steal the dead man's belongings and no one mourns him. Scrooge begs to know who the man is, but receives no answer until the spirit takes him to a neglected grave where he sees his own name carved on the tombstone. Horrified, Scrooge realizes that the unloved dead man is himself. The spirit also shows the Cratchit family in mourning because Tiny Tim has died. Overwhelmed with fear and regret, Scrooge promises desperately that he will change if given the chance. Suddenly, he wakes up in his bed on Christmas morning, filled with relief and a joy he has not felt in decades. Realizing he has time to make things right, he rushes to show kindness to others. He buys the largest turkey in the shop and sends it anonymously to the Cratchit family. He donates generously to the charity he refused the day before and walks through the city greeting people warmly. Later, he joins his nephew Fred's Christmas dinner and experiences love, laughter, and companionship again. In the days that follow, Scrooge becomes a new man, compassionate, generous, and deeply caring toward everyone around him. He raises Bob Cratchit's salary, helps support the family, and becomes like a second father to Tiny Tim, who lives thanks to Scrooge's kindness. Scrooge keeps Christmas in his heart every day of the year and becomes a living reminder that no one is beyond redemption and that kindness can transform any life, no matter how hardened it has become.